There's a single phrase that upsets me more than any other phrase at closing tables because it is quietly the most dangerous thing a buyer can hear. And that phrase is, don't worry, this is standard paperwork. If you're buying a home and somebody has said this to you or you expect to hear this video is for you, because buyers who accept this phrase stop asking questions of legal documents they're signing because they don't understand them. And just because you don't understand them or nobody explained them to you doesn't mean that they're not legally binding. Hi, I'm attorney Kishore Kapoor, a residential real estate closing attorney here in the state of Connecticut. And we share real life stories about real closings on a daily basis so you can learn from my clients' experiences so you can have a stress-free and smooth closing. Let me tell you the story of Sandra. Sandra was selling her home. She had bought an investment property. It was a multifamily. So she lived in the first floor and she had tenants on the second floor. She did her closing, closed with another attorney. We're getting ready to sell it. It was 2.5 years later. She was moving out. She decided she wanted something else. Fine. We make it work. We represent clients from other attorneys all the time. So a realtor recommended us. We started working together. We ordered her payoff. And in her payoff, there was a line item that said a prepayment penalty, $10,000. And we're reviewing the closing documents and Sandra goes, what's this? I go, it's your prepayment penalty. She goes, what prepayment penalty? I go, when you signed your mortgage, there's a prepayment penalty in there. She goes, I didn't sign that. We stopped the closing. I grab my computer, pull up the mortgage and I go, is that your signature? She goes, yeah. I go, well, then you signed it. There's not much we can do. I go, did somebody not explain it to you? She goes, no, my attorney just told me these are standard documents, sign here, 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 and here. And that's what I did. This is where it becomes very dangerous. Sandra signed off that there was a 5-year prepayment penalty. I had nothing I can do other than tell her she had to pay it. So Sandra wasted $10,000 because she did not understand what she was signing because somebody told her it was standard paper. This is why this phrase that don't worry, this is standard paperwork comes back to bite you every time. Now, let me tell you about my client, Marcus. Marcus and I worked together to purchase a home. Everything went smoothly. We got to the closing table and we're reviewing the closing statement. So as part of the closing, we review a closing disclosure. So we're talking to Marcus and Marcus, we get to the part of the closing disclosure that says, we're going to put money in escrow for your taxes and your insurance. Marcus goes, what are you talking about? I'm not putting money in escrow. I go, what do you mean? The mortgage company's requiring it. He goes, I didn't know that. I was like, okay, well, luckily I'm telling you now. He goes, and I saw this sigh of relief from Marcus, right? Marcus had a $2,500 mortgage payment every month. In Marcus's mind, he needed to come up with $3,500 because Marcus didn't realize his mortgage payment included his escrow. He was slightly stressed at the closing. But when we explained to him, you could see just that relief that came in. He left the closing knowing that he had saved, in his mind, saved some money because he didn't have to come up with an extra $1,000 a month for taxes and insurance. Worked out beautifully. So here's 4 lessons I hope you learn from this. One is, even if somebody uses the word saying it's standard documents, it doesn't mean they're harmless, and it doesn't mean you can't ask questions, right? There can be prepayment penalties. Marcus and Sandra, Sandra's got prepayment, Marcus has an escrow. There could be errors in other fees. There could be other restrictions, right? You buy a property in Connecticut with CHFA, which is Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. They require that the property could be owner occupied. That's important to know, right? Because it might be a 10-year period that you have to own or occupy this property. There are things that you need to look at there. Now, the closing date is not the time for you to sit there and read all these documents. You're not going to get time to read all the documents. There's 150 pages typically. What you want to do is you want to have an attorney that's reviewed them before and can explain them to you. And we go through it almost line by line. It's section by section. Your attorney should be preparing you for what's coming, not processing you. The attorney is just trying to rush you in and out of the closing. That's a mistake, right? That costs you time and that costs you money because you might be agreeing to something you didn't know you were agreeing to. If you agreed you have to own or occupy your house and you decide you want to rent it, you're going to have a big problem, right? And the state does find out. So don't think that you can be sneaking you past that. The last one is you have the right to slow down and ask questions. This is your closing. You're making the commitment for 30 years. I am not paying your mortgage. Your realtor is not paying your mortgage. Your mortgage broker is not paying your mortgage. This is costing you money. So you better understand what you are signing. And don't be like Sandra, where it turns out 5 years later, you have an issue because you didn't sit there and understand or ask that question. So if you're getting ready to close on a property or you're just getting under contract and you want to actually understand what you're signing, be sure to give my office a call. We'll help represent you on your closing so that when you close on your new home, there are no surprises after we close. And as always, if you like this information and found it to be helpful, follow us because every day I share new video explaining a new issue we ran into from real life experiences, from real closings, so that you can close with a stress-free and smooth closing. If you'd like to learn more about tips about buying a house in 2026, watch this video.